The screen opens to chaos, muffled voices, flashing monitors, and a blinding overhead light. Inside the sterile surgery room, Dr. Jackie's hands are trembling. Her voice is steady, but her eyes are flooding. Sweat drips from her forehead as she presses the defibrillator pads against Tamela Mann's chest. Clear. A jolt. The monitor flickers. Flatline again. Clear. Another shock. Silence, then a single haunting beep, long unbroken. The camera slowly zooms out through the sterile double doors down the quiet hospital corridor. The doors swing open. Doctor. Jackie steps out, breathless, eyes red, mouth quivering. Waiting outside is Tamela Mann, clinging to hope, hands shaking. Dr. Jackie whispers the unthinkable. We did everything we could, but she slipped into a coma. Tia doesn't scream. She collapses. Her knees hit the floor. Her phone falls from her hand. She lets out one strangled cry before everything goes dark around her. Panic, despair. She loses consciousness. David Mann just steps away, sits frozen, his head buried in his hands, his shoulders shaking. The strongest man in the room is broken beyond words. Cut to black, only a voice. Tamela Mann on Instagram Live pleading through tears. If anybody can hear me, please pray for my mom. We don't know if she'll ever wake up. There was a quiet buzz in the hospital just hours before. Nurses moved steadily, visitors whispered, and the scent of antiseptic filled the air. But in Operating Room 3, the air was thick with tension and urgency. Dr. Jackie, a longtime friend of the Mann family and one of the most trusted surgeons in the state, stood over Tamela Mann's still body. She wasn't just a patient, she was Tamela, gospel legend, mother, wife, inspiration. But now her chest wasn't rising. The machines beeped steadily until they didn't. Clear, doctor? Jackie shouted again, her voice cracking under pressure as she delivered another shock. Nothing. Another shock. Nothing. She looked up, sweat pooling on her brow, her team frozen but professional. She took a deep breath and tried once more. Clear. The machine jolted Tamela's chest, then silence, and then a long, low beep. Continuous. Final. Inside the room, hearts were breaking behind surgical masks. Outside the room, Tamela Mann sat curled against a hallway wall, eyes glued to the floor, her phone in hand but unread. She hadn't posted a thing in hours, which for her meant something was terribly wrong. And she was right. The doors swung open. Dr. Jackie emerged, eyes bloodshot, hands still trembling in her gloves. She looked at Tia for a long second before speaking. We did everything we could, she whispered, but she slipped into a coma. Tia's breath caught in her throat. For a second, she didn't move. The words didn't land. They floated above her head as if someone else was being spoken to. Then she dropped her phone. Her knees buckled. She slid to the floor like her bones had vanished. Her screams echoed down the hallway, drawing nurses and onlookers. One tried to reach her, but she pushed them away. Her body heaved with sobs, her mind racing. This couldn't be happening. Not her mother, not Tamela. David Mann sat a few feet away. He hadn't spoken in nearly an hour. He'd prayed quietly when they wheeled Tamela into surgery, whispering under his breath, his hands clenched together so tightly they turned white. But now nothing. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, face in his hands, his broad shoulders. Once the image of strength and stability trembled uncontrollably. Silent tears streamed down his cheeks. The man who'd always been the rock, the protector, was unraveling before everyone's eyes. Inside that waiting room, time froze. Reality bent. It didn't feel like a hospital anymore. It felt like limbo. And then, the worst moment. A nurse approached slowly and handed Dr. Jackie a small clipboard. Time of code confirmed, she said softly. Dr. Jackie looked down. Her hand shook as she scribbled the time. Tia caught a glimpse and something inside her shattered. No, don't write that down, she yelled, lunging forward. She's not gone, doctor. Jackie rushed to her side, holding her gently but firmly. She's still here, Tia. She's breathing, but she's in a coma. Her heart's stable for now. Tia's breath hitched. It wasn't over. But it wasn't life either. It was something in between. That horrible, cruel space where nothing can be done except wait. Hours passed. The family was ushered into a private room. Security was tightened. News had already begun to spread online. Some fans had seen the ambulance arrive earlier and started posting. Rumors were multiplying. Tia finally spoke to her followers, or at least tried to on Instagram Live with swollen eyes and a trembling voice. She whispered into the front-facing camera, "Please, I know y'all love my mom. I know so many of you grew up on her voice, her songs, her prayers. Please just pray for her. We don't know what's going to happen." The doctors, they don't know if she'll ever wake up. The night had fallen heavy over the hospital, but inside Tamela Mann's private ICU wing, time seemed frozen. Machines beeped in a slow, unnerving rhythm. Outside her room, Tia sat stiffly in the hallway chair, her arms wrapped around her knees, staring blankly at the wall across from her. Hours had passed since Dr. Jackie delivered the news, but the words still echoed in her mind. She's in a coma. Tia hadn't moved much. She'd barely spoken. Her phone buzzed endlessly on the seat beside her. Calls from fans, texts from gospel community leaders, even voicemails from reporters. But she couldn't bring herself to look. Inside the room, David Mann stood quietly at his wife's bedside. He held her hand like a lifeline, whispering soft prayers, his voice cracking with each word. For decades, Tama had been his partner in everything, on stage, in life and faith. And now her silence was louder than any choir. Suddenly, the door to the ICU opened, and Yolanda Adams stepped in, sunglasses hiding red eyes. She walked straight to Tia, dropping to her knees. "Baby girl," Yolanda whispered, pulling Tia into a deep embrace. "I came as fast as I could." Tia collapsed into her arms, finally letting herself break again. "She's not waking up," she sobbed. "She's just lying there." "I know, baby." "I know," Yolanda said, brushing her hair gently. "But your mom is a warrior. Don't you forget that. And right now, she needs our faith to be louder than our fear." Meanwhile, the world outside the hospital was catching fire. Clips of Dr. Jackie's tear-eyed announcement had already gone viral. Gospel blogs, Christian news networks, and even mainstream outlets like CNN and The Shade Room were now reporting it. Breaking gospel icon Tamela Mann in coma after emergency surgery. Daughter's breakdown caught on camera. Tia's team, without her consent, had posted a single message to her Instagram story. "Please pray for my mom. She needs a miracle." Aunt Tamela and prayer warriors unite. The hashtag exploded. Thousands of fans flooded the internet with messages of hope, videos of them singing Tamela's songs, and testimonies of how her voice had changed their lives. In the waiting room, Kirk Franklin arrived, visibly shaken. He hugged David tightly. "Say the word, and I'll lead prayer live right now," he whispered. David nodded silently, motioning toward a nearby chapel in the hospital. Within minutes, Kirk was live on Instagram, standing in front of a small cross with Yolanda, Donnie McClurkin, and Cece Winans behind him. He spoke into the phone like a pastor at a national revival. "We're standing here not as artists, but as family. Tamela Mann has poured into us for decades. Now it's time for us to pour faith back into her. So wherever you are, stop, pray, lift her name up." Within minutes, over 1 million people were tuned in. The comments rolled in like a wave. "Praying from Nigeria. Tamela helped me through my divorce. God, please bring her back." Back inside Tamela's room, Dr. Jackie entered again, this time with a solemn expression and a stack of test results. David looked up immediately. "Anything?" Jackie took a breath. "We've stabilized her vitals, but there's swelling in the brain. We can't predict how long this coma will last." David's hands trembled. "Can she hear us?" Jackie hesitated. "Possibly. Coma patients sometimes respond to familiar voices. Talk to her, sing if you want, let her know she's not alone." David turned slowly to Tama and did something he hadn't done since before the diagnosis. He started humming, low, broken, but sincere. He sang the first few words of "Take Me to the King." Tia walked in at that moment quietly. As soon as she heard the tune, she froze. Her mom's voice had always been so powerful. Now the room was filled with its echo, only from David. Tia moved closer and placed her hand on her mom's arm. "Mom, it's me. I know you probably hate all this attention," she said with a tearful laugh, "but the whole world is praying for you." She broke down again, burying her face in her mother's lap. "Please wake up. I don't know who I am without you." Back outside the room, Dr. Jackie spoke to Yolanda in private. "She lost a lot of blood during surgery. We brought her back. But I've never seen Tama this week. This isn't just physical, it's spiritual too." Yolanda nodded. "Then we fight spiritually." Later that night, Tia made the decision to go live. She sat by her mom's bedside, phone trembling in her hand. "I wasn't going to do this," she began, "but y'all deserve the truth. This is my mom. This is Tamela Mann. And she's not just a gospel singer, she's my heartbeat." The camera slowly panned to Tamela's resting face, the monitor beeping softly. Tia wiped her tears and looked directly into the lens. "If you've ever been blessed by her music, I'm asking you to be her voice now. Pray for her, sing for her, speak life over her, because right now she needs it more than ever." She ended the live with the words, "We walk by faith, not by sight, and I believe my mom's coming back, though."